We are live with Jenny Elliott. Live, 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 live. We got it
Now this
going
one's
live
for
with Jenny
you.
Elliott. And she might have to push a couple shows through because apparently they're doing what I thought they did. And we'll discuss more when we see you after we push this button.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Steve Van Samson,
Curtis M. Lawson,
Paul Christian Glenn, Joshua Rex, Raz, Rob Smell,
I forgot to push the other button. Sorry about that. Hey, everybody. Happy Sunday. I've got to show this off. I have got Phillips the Gnome here with his samurai sword, his katana. And yeah, this is thanks to Aaron Wroblewski's Kickstarter campaign for Ice and Bone, which I also got the really cool comic for. And Ratatosker, well, Ratatosker is sulking and drinking peanut butter whiskey because I refuse to let him be armed as well this show because I can't handle two armed puppets at the same time. It just gets too confusing and very violent, and I don't think any of us want that. So you just get to see Phillips here hanging out. He's not very good at wielding it yet. He almost cut off his own nose. But yeah, if you're interested, follow Aaron Wroblewski, who we've had on before, and check out his Kickstarter campaigns. I'll be mentioning more on Tuesday with some of the new campaigns that everybody has going on Splash Pages. But it comes with this lovely sheath and keychain. We are practicing sword safety here. So, wrong way. So we will put the sheath on the sword so that Phillips here can't hurt himself, and it even has a little stand you can build to set it onto for displaying, but he won't let me put it together because he wants to keep it on him at all times. So we have sword safety going on, but I'm going to move him over because because he's a handful. That's why he isn't on very often. Give Norm a sword, and it's just crazy. So hey, everybody. Nice to see you all tonight on the Clutch of Personalities. You might see somebody who looks somewhat familiar, but instead of going as our gal Friday tonight, we are seeing her in her persona as author extraordinaire, Jennifer Elliott. So please, everybody, welcome Jennifer to the show. How are you doing, sweets?
I didn't know I was extraordinaire. Awesome. That is a great compliment. Thank you.
You are extraordinaire. Yes, darling. So, Jennifer, as you can see from that was up for quite a while, and we also, oh yeah, I have all the books here. Has written for quite a few books. She has her own book. Yay! It's Jenny. It's Jenny.
Yeah.
Yes. She has her own entire collection called State of Mind, which, if you're commenting in the show, you might win a copy of when we come to spin the wheel of merch at the end. I'm going through these in order of least scary to scariest. There's also Fae Propaganda, How to Deal with the Fae Folk, Fairy Flying, The Art of Self-Care, Darkness Screams Howling Deep, Darkness Screams Whisper Quiet, and Nightmare Whiskers. So, first thing we're going to
Don't
do
forget
is...
about the anthology that we're in together.
Well, okay, there's that too. There is also the Owlette Menagerie, which we do encourage everyone, if you could, to go out and give it a chance. We have a lot of stories collected in this one. It's an anthology with people from all over the Owlette Network, as well as some of our fun friends. And all of the proceeds for the first year go to pro literacy, promoting adult literacy, because every adult has the right to read, and that is something we are very, very big on here. We like literacy. Can't get my Alucard. Hi, how are you? So, first of all, I want to get started with talking to the. I read. Yes, we're not going to be able to talk. We're just going to answer comments all day. That's what it is. No, I'm not discouraging you guys from talking at all. Please keep it up. But I wanted to ask what got you started in your writing?
To get me started on my writing.
Yes.
Fan fiction. I had started, originally a story about a skeleton because they said I could, and they had it in our local library. I have no idea what it was about, and I don't know if I still could get it. It was somewhere in the Soddy Daisy Elementary Library. And then we had a poetry project when I was in like 6th or 8th, and I found out I could write poetry. And it apparently had scared the teacher, and I was sent to the counselor's office
Oh
because
dear.
they said how I felt. And I had a lot of questions about death because right when we were supposed to write the poetry project, my mom died. So, yeah, and from that, it was the fan fiction about different animes I was watching. And from there, I didn't really do anything after high school until I ended up talking to the lovely ladies at Faycore, and they decided to take me where I was. And now here I am.
Yay. And I noticed that having read everything, I read it all. One of the things that you focus on a lot, and as you do in your home life, you focus on your family a lot. And the
Mhm.
stories have a lot to do with families in them. So do you take a lot of that from the things that are going on with your family and base them on like the characters off of the various littles and adults in your life?
The tiny people are definitely based off of my tiny people, and various characters are based on different family members. The different ones, there's like in the newsletter, my uncle had died, and I'd wrote a story about how I think uh my brain had decided how my family members came and got him and took him on to the afterlife. So some of it's based on different stories they told, or how I imagined they would happen and react in certain situations. And you probably figured out Friday and Liz are basically if my mother-in-law and I could have a ghost team, like a paranormal investigation team. what we would do.
Something else that I really like is the way that you tackle emotions, because you're very good at explaining how people feel and how you don't always feel exactly the same, like what is expected to be an emotion. You can sometimes they just come out. I think they want all the emotions at once. You just did I name that story right? I think
Yeah, you got it right.
okay, that one in particular was very. I liked. You have a family history of working in nursing homes or care centers or whatever they're
Yeah,
called these days, and
all of
the way assisted living is that or
there's called nursing homes. They're called assisted care living and care centers. It depends on the owner of the facility and where the facility is located and what type of patients they have.
but you were able to put in that story some uh and you guys should read it. It's really good. A lot of places uh like those do end up haunted. And it's just a thing. And you'll hear, but it's usually not malicious, or at least not overly malicious in the gist of things. There's usually somebody there taking people home, or a couple
Mhm.
different people there taking people home. And the encounter you have is brilliant. It's something that would scare the shit out of most people. And yet, being working there and knowing things and having family members who've experienced it too, you got to have all the different feelings that came with it, besides just being like, oh shit, I just saw a ghost. You get to go through and somebody's there to help the main character and explain, yeah, that's how it's going. So let's get through this. Let's, get the tears out that you need, get the scare out that you need, get everything out that you need. It's great. I love it. So I really like the way you tackle emotions a lot and explain how you can go through all the different stages. Is that another lesson that you spend a lot of time working on with people in your family and
It
friends?
is one that has been hard
Hi, Lily.
to learn. Hi, Lily. I'm so happy you're here too. It's been a hard lesson to learn, and it's a lesson we're trying to tackle and trying to teach, because it's one of those that I found myself not only trying to teach the children, I'm trying to teach a couple of my adult family members of how to work through it, because it has been a hard thing to learn and to get through. And I want others to know they should work through it and not just keep it bottled up. Bottling it up leads to worse mental health than working through it.
Yeah. And what inspires the spooky side of your stuff?
Oh, my parents. You probably is Barb and Jane and Jay, and all of them are based on actual family members. And that whole entire story is based on multiple different ghost stories told by my mom. Um, the the ghost some a couple of other ghost stories are based on other families have told, or ones that we have experienced.
And you had a lot of that kind of stuff growing up in Saudi Daisy, because you lived in a town that, and this was interesting when we heard about it, because all small towns have their thing, and Saudi Daisy, where she grew up, was into revering their dead and just going and hanging out by the cemeteries, and it was taught to the kids in school even, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I remember we had a field trip where the teachers told us about the different spirits that were around, what type of things were seen, paranormal things that had been seen in Saudi Daisy around the area around the school within walking distance. In another field trip, we had went to one of the oldest cemeteries in town that had people buried from wars and other uh, things in history, and we did sketchings, and then we went and we looked up who they were and talked about the lives they had or what they had done in the military to receive the honors or whatever else that had happened.
That to me is so cool, but it's also just something I've never heard of doing before. I we had on where I grew up, we had two different our librarian and one of our teachers were really into teaching us about like Norse mythology
Mhm.
was a big thing there, but yeah, I've never lived anywhere where cemeteries were like I mean, I always enjoy cemeteries, um,
Oh, I
but
do too.
I know you do. If you guys want to make friends with her, send her pictures of cemeteries. Any
Mhm.
pictures at all. Go places, take the ones, little ones, big ones, everywhere you go ones. And she loves telling stories about cemeteries and has a show about them, and it's fabulous. But that is how you befriend Mr. Jennifer Elliott here, is send her pictures of cemeteries. Why, look, there's one behind her now.
Oh yeah, this one is a beautiful one that was in a news article. They had caught a migration of birds, and this was one of the clearest pictures they had, and it happened to be over a cemetery. And I'm like, I need that.
Those are real?
Those are actually birds that are in migration to another place.
Wow. I was like, that's an odd thing to put above a cemetery, but now that I know they're
No, it
real,
was
that's just cool.
happening. It's a thing that still happens.
That's awesome. I like that. Um, so how you do a lot. Like, okay, Jennifer here is our gal Friday. She handles a bunch of things for Allied Network, a bunch of things for Vacore. She homeschools her children. She takes care of her husband. I think he takes care of himself sometimes too. He seems to be a pretty good
Oh,
husband with doing things like that.
we take care of each other.
They have a
He's a
great
great
marriage.
husband.
It's so cute. They're like the most adorable couple in the world. And
Right.
but when do you find time to write when you're doing all these things?
Um, normally, in the mornings, I'll get up and I'll go have on the days that my mother-in-law doesn't work, I'll take my composition book over and we'll talk and I'll have coffee and I'll start writing out notes about the different stories I have. And then later I will go through and start typing it up and try to put things together. And whenever I found that you guys, the Owlite Network, are very helpful whenever I get stumped. The last couple of times, you and Mariah and Raz have just sat down and talked with me and helped me figure it out. Like Raz gave me a good hour and something phone call recently explaining things so I could get that the side that he understood written out, and then I can work on the nursing home part of the story. Because the one I'm going to work on next is actually Sage and Theodosia trying to solve a problem in the nursing home.
Oh, nice. That's I think it would be great, and I personally would love to see you put together an entire collection about nursing homes
I am.
because
Sage
oh, okay,
is going to have her own
Mike.
volume. Hi, Mike. It's a mix of a diary and stories that has happened with her. She is getting her own volume, and Friday is getting her own volume. How due
Awesome.
to a nightmare I've had, I've already figured out how Friday and Liz die. I'm just trying to write the rest of the book to get to that point.
Spoilers.
So I keep yeah, well, everybody's already heard how they die. And I didn't know they heard how they die until later after I started thinking about it. So yeah, but um I've recently not well, recently with I guess sometime last year, I don't know, on an episode of Society, I have read some of the journal entries of Sages, of the different ghost encounters she's had. I don't know how recent time is running together.
Oh, it's been a little bit since we've done one, and we will be doing a Halloween special, by the way, guys. It's going to be on November 3rd, I believe, is the Sunday that comes after Halloween, because we've got a lot of people working in haunts, and they can't be here, so we want to make sure that they're allowed to be here. So go ahead and go crazy on Thursday. It's my birthday. I'm ancient, and celebrate then, but we will be inviting everyone who wants to share family stories or ancestral stories, things like that, historical type of things. I mean, it doesn't have to be your relatives. It can be like people you looked up to that were from the past. Uh, yeah. Yeah, post-Halloween special. We're going to be doing it this year post-Halloween. But lost my train of thought entirely. Oh, Society. Yeah, it's been a while since we've done one, so I couldn't tell you when last things were up there either. I can't remember what I did last. We're all
I think
dying
the last
slowly here.
one.
It's been a rough season, so you have to forgive us a little bit if we're kind of like, oh, yeah, I. You don't even want to know what our chats look like. They're just like, I'm in pain. I'm dying. I have milk. I love this. I have a squirrel
Milk
and a
with
samurai
coffee.
gnome.
She has the squirrel and the samurai gnome, and we have Soapy's milk because Soapy loves me, and he had to be part of the show. And I brought my own stuffed coffee.
And for those of you just tuning in, this is Phillips the gnome with his brand new samurai sword. His katana, which has to be encased because he is not a safe gnome. He gets a little wacky and runs around and things go bad, and we don't nobody wants that to happen. Okay, what does Mike say? Funny enough, my boss's birthday is Halloween. Last year it was a little rough at work, and he's like, "It's a hell of a day." I'm like, "Your birthday is Halloween. Of course it's going to be a hell of a day." That got a chuckle out of it. Yes, and yes, he is adorable, isn't he? He is just the sweetest little thing when he's not creating havoc and like raining mania down upon me. He was captured by the dresser people for like about a year, and so they taught him bad habits. So he is an ornery gnome that would not get a bowl of milk put out for him every night with some of his behavioral issues these days. If you know. But yeah, so yes, I scrolled. Thank you.
All over the
Um,
place.
all over, all over. So when it comes to all of the witchiness that you know, and the different things like that going into pagan stuff, where do you where do you get the background for that?
Uh, I have been researching. I talk to different witches. I buy the books they tell me to buy, and I search on different socials. I search on different websites, and I'm just trying to learn all that I can and get it at least not disrespectful that when I write it, but at in the next story when I do write my one of my family members in it, my aunt, I need people to understand I am not making fun of witches. That's just the type of person she was. And I think it should be immortalized because she was amazing. She just liked to dance in her yard, and it was just fun.
You'll find witches of all variety, just like everybody.
Mhm.
And Mike, this guy is more likely to go Chucky than anybody else because he is an alcoholic, and Squirrel, he's just an ornery little fella himself, but he gets more showtime. He also is giving me like serious arm pain. I go into my physical therapist and it's for this shoulder, and I'm like, oh, and I noticed that I hold this puppet like this all the time, facing this way, and it's really uncomfortable because you guys, my hand is like this to move his face around. So I'm like, eh. When he's facing me, he's fine. But oh, thank you. I'm doing my part for Halloweeny, doing the stuff. I got some pretty tops this year. So
And you
and
look
Jen has got her.
amazing. You look amazing on
I
the
want to
last splash pages.
thank you. I'm gonna show off the picture that you showed me of your outfit from yesterday. Got the witchy skirt going on. And your
I
little
decided
one.
I wanted to dress like Calypso Rain.
And you did good. I like
No
it.
idea how you picture her in your mind, but that's how I picture her.
I have Calypso Rain, for those of you wondering, is her D&D gnome.
Thank you.
And my characters have always had for a long time of playing with people in my home. I had very weird relationships with all gnomes. It was like I could not be within 20 feet of one without making them blow up everything within like 50 feet around them. So gnomes are something that my characters are trained to like run away from so that there aren't explosions. But I do enjoy Calypso Rain, and I do see her as this like spunky little goofy gal who is just awesome. Yeah, we do too. We'll get back to it. Maybe you can get a little bit of a fix off of watching us play and influencing the game a little bit here and there when we get it, when we get time, when we get everybody back, when we have haunt season. There's just no time for the extra shows like that. But I was going to go into some more questions about um I love that you teach your kids at home. I love the homeschooling thing. My sister's doing some of that, and I just I I hear stories that you guys don't know, so I'm not going to like make her go through all of those. But a lot of the things that came up in State of Mind um, seem to deal with, and we talked about this a little bit, the emotions and stuff, and teaching the kids and having those little moments with the kids that are just like you're just grabbing them and making sure that you capture them and keep them. So, do you go over some of the poetry with the kids right now, with the olders, or
No, we have common sense classes, and they're not that interested in mommy's poetry, but I every so often I stop and I have common sense classes. More often than like writing or whatever. It is easier that way because I'll see these weird things that adults do and other children do. It's for example, the kid who decided to run away in his shorts and t-shirt with no shoes or anything.
right,
I
right.
told them I told them where they could go if they wanted to take a break. I told them which family members that wouldn't mind. And we'd go drop them off. I told them there was this person who, canned biscuits and canned cinnamon
Cinnamon
rolls.
rolls.
They were opening them with a can opener. We had a reading directions class that day. I put them on the counter. I put them on the counter. I said, "Okay, kids, here's the pan, and here's this. We are going to read the directions, and then we are going to talk about it." And then I showed them why I would take the edge and crack it on the counter compared to doing the thumb pushing down on the thumb thing
Mhm.
or the spoon because that would hurt mommy's thumbs. So the counter did the same thing. We've had common sense classes about like the Tide Pods, about the cinnamon, about other different things. And I had to explain there's a difference between the powder in her inhaler and inhaling spices. The powder in the inhaler is made to be inhaled. So yeah, we just whatever comes up, stupid things that happen, we try to stave off the idea of doing things that could hurt them.
I'm embarrassed to say that some of the stories that she's gotten to use for these common sense classes have come from my hometown here. Well, my now hometown of Lincoln, Nebraska, including when the State Patrol had to put out a warning letting people know that they were on their way to the house where the guy was melting his driveway with a flamethrower instead of scooping his walks. That was, how do we not destroy property? I'm sure that like it had to be harder to get the flamethrower than a snowblower all set up, and like, yeah, Mike, we don't have. We're a pretty decent town, but we have some special folks every now and then that just decide, like we aren't quite, and I'm no offense to anybody who lives there, we aren't quite Florida level because you got to admit, a Florida man has their moments like daily, but we get some. I think mine was also the kid who ran away barefoot in shorts in the middle of the snowstorm. So,
Well, had local ones like, please try to pet the alligator at the park. Leave him be in the creek.
yeah.
So there are local stories that we just it's not just there.
My cousin once called my ex a gremlin. I was kind of like, you might be right. It could very well be, but you also, yeah. Speaking of the kiddos, though, you also do have an entry in one of your books that is with one of the kiddos.
Oh, yes. Sophia and I wrote a poem in Nightmare Whiskers about a spider mommy and what they would do and what they would eat and stuff. And in the story, they drew pictures together. So Sophia and I drew pictures for the poem, like the kid and his mommy did. And I am most definitely that book was released on the 25th.
So 2 days ago.
I totally missed. Normally I post and everything ooh everything just went wrong over the past week, so I've been kind of not getting stuff done.
So, folks, go out and make sure that you get your copy of Nightmare Whiskers with all of these lovely folks in them. And as you can see, Sophie and Jenny Elliott are both listed down there.
We haven't done the release party because the aforementioned hot thing. A few of our members that would actually do the party with us, the main people who always do the party, are doing haunt things. So we have put it off until after haunt season and then we will have our party.
Don't worry, it will happen. You will get to do it.
It's just everybody's exhausted. It's been a very long, uh, tiring haunt season, and they have worked their butts off to make amazing things happen. And they have made
Yeah.
lots of some amazing things happen.
And I can't believe I went shopping with Mom today and we're like planning for Thanksgiving. And I'm just like, it's like, oh, my birthday's in a couple of days. Usually I, have months to think of things ahead of my birthday. And it's just like, Yeah, didn't even. Yeah, I got nothing. I'm coming up on because I like to try to dress up on Halloween, but not going to happen this year. It's just too much.
Yeah. Your present's going to be late because I haven't finished making it yet.
It's fine. I might put on a mask. I don't know. I have some pretty like feather mask things. I think I used them before. They're fun.
Mine is going to be the skirt in the picture and this top. And we are going to go around and do the last part of trick or treating. Around here, we've been very blessed. They have had multiple events to celebrate families and everything. We want to definitely thank the hospice that had thrown the Halloween event, and we want to thank the Martindise Park people who had thrown their event, and our whole family is grateful.
Awesome. Good night, Mike.
Thank you for being here. And if you have any questions, don't forget to ask.
Asking groups, you shall be answered.
Private message, I don't care.
So with all of that coming up, what you have the release party coming up, and then those other two books you were saying that you had going. Is there anything else that Miss Jennifer Elliott is working on right now?
Cassandra and I are working on an art and poetry volume together. She has already put like 32 pieces of art in it, and I am trying to make my poetry look like junk journal entries. So it looks very artistic and pretty. And
Nice.
my kid is very talented. She has her digital art, her drawing, all of it. I am so proud of her and her hard work.
She is really good. I really like
I'm
this.
very proud of
We all have little owl-like people that have been made of us.
Cassie made her one and Sophia made her one. Cassie made the normal one, and then Sophia made the one when she turns into her crow form. Cassie made Carrie and Sophie made Delphine.
I love them and they're awesome. So it's very hard for me, by the way, to interview somebody who I'm such good friends with because I forget what other people need to know because I already know it, if that makes sense. But is there anything that I should be asking you or that you want to cover that I have not gotten to currently? Because
I have no idea. I just went in this like, hey, somebody else gets to figure out the questions this time. I don't have to
I'm like,
research. I just
what
have to show
questions would
up.
you like to ask?
At this point, I figure you can ask me any off the wall questions you want, anything weird you wanted to know, or normal author questions.
Okay, so the one that I'd been thinking about, and since you base your characters off of a lot of different people, when you're writing them, do you hear their voices in your head?
I think the thing that makes me most sad is I have forgotten a lot of a lot of the voices sound like. They have been gone so long, I can't remember them. And then others I still hear because I have gotten to see them. And unfortunately, a bunch of them in the last story, the one I got published, that they had passed away recently, and I hadn't got to see them since within the last 9 years, because it's very hard to travel that 800 miles back home.
Yeah, that is quite a distance to have to go. And I love the internet in that I get a chance to see you guys on a regular basis since we all live so far from each other. But I gotta say, like, when I go meet up with everybody in Connecticut once a year, it's such a different experience to get to hang out with everybody in person. And I know this sounds to you guys like, well, duh, but seriously, most of my friends I don't see on a regular basis in human form, in real life, I guess, as people like to say. But it makes a difference. But
I
it
don't
also
mind
is nice to get to see each other, even if it's not in person, being able to spend time online talking with you and stuff is always fun.
Oh, I enjoy
So
our thoughts.
yes. I think what I want to do now is go through our ad, and then would you be willing to grace us with a reading?
Yes.
Okay. Well, get ready, everybody. We're going to put up our quick ad break here, and then we are going to get a reading from the lovely Miss Jennifer Elliott.
Greetings and shabibans. We are the Retro Reductibus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Yeah, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite Steve's trying to say is that on Retro Redoctopus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh.
And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Door King Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brick.
You can listen to Retro Octopus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.
Welcome back, everybody.
You didn't even
And
put him down during breaks. That is why your arm hurts so much. You don't even put him down during ad breaks.
well, he kind of
can
jams
sleep
out to the music during the ad breaks,
But he can jam lower because he.
I do have something.
can
I do have a
sit
pillow
behind-
under my. I do have a
Okay.
cushion. Yeah, I'm not just
That
like
is like-
holding him. No, I've had him resting here. I have a pillow.
Okay.
Well, actually, this elbow's on Drew, and this is on my IKEA pillows.
Okay.
Sorry, Mom. I'll tell my physical
And-
therapist that I got called out for it.
And because he has not told anybody today,
Get out.
out. Like, seriously, get out. Like, get out. Like, right now. Like, right now. Get.
Yes, we needed that.
We do. All right. But before you get out, we're going to have a story.
Okay, this is from Nightmare Whiskers. It comes in the night. I heard the sounds of something huge walking through the woods. We don't normally get anything this size coming through any of the woods surrounding us and our neighbors. I was glad I was the only one awake in the house when I looked outside. Until then, I was enjoying the peace and quiet of having my three littles resting for new adventures tomorrow. I opened the blinds of my door to look out the window. It shocked me as I realized that this is not the adventure anyone ever wanted. It was taller than all the oak and pine trees around us. It had long, skinny, angular limbs with a rounded face and an angular chin. It walked in a straight line forward like it had a purpose. It was gone within seconds. I walked to the couch and sat as I waited to hear if any more came through. I thought about how it could crush any building or vehicle it walked on. I needed to be awake so I could hear and get the kids out of the way. Unfortunately, at 5 a.m., John woke me. I had crashed hard where I sat. He guided me to bed, and I just crawled in, being too exhausted to remember what happened last night. He got ready as usual, knowing nothing about last night. The theme song from John's favorite demon hunting show started playing from my phone. He had been gone only a couple hours when he called me, freaking out about the creature that went through the neighbor's backyard last night. Honey bun? I asked groggily. Did you see the videos of the thing that came through town last night? No, baby. I saw it walk through town last night. My brain crashed and I just sat down. I said, emotionless. Why didn't you wake me up? He asked, astonished. Would you have believed me? I asked, knowing the answer. No, I would have told you that you were having a nightmare, he replied. We are, but it's not one we can wake up from, I replied, the only way to describe the situation. I love all my babies. Let's talk more after work, he said. We will always love you, I replied, and hung up. I walked down the hall and peeked in on all the kids. They were still asleep. I decided not even to call the school. They could read between the lines if anyone did or didn't show up. I need to do a social media news search. I found my phone and its charger in my room. The laptop was on the side table in the living room. I took all of them and plugged them in by the kitchen table. I started some coffee with a dash of cinnamon, just like Mom used to make. I needed something comforting. I made some of those instant muffin batter pouches, the berry just add milk version, and put them in the oven. With the timer set, I got my laptop booting up. I scrolled through the town page on the Book of Face on my phone. 2 houses were crushed. No survivors were found in the slaughter's house. The bishops had not come back from vacation yet. They were spared, according to the sheriff. He had spoken with a family member to be sure their whereabouts and to get them informed of their crushed house. They had relayed the message to one of the slaughters about their family's house as well. All I could find from our locals were pictures of the damage from our and the surrounding counties. All our government officials are as clueless as we are. Before I could start my search on the clock app, my sister called and I had totally forgotten about people outside of this house momentarily. Hi, Sissy, I said. Oh, thank God you're alive, she said, relieved. I just saw the comments on Facebook. I was trying to process it through my groggy mind. I overslept, I told her as I got up to the timer on the stove. I set the muffin pan on top of the stove and turned it off. I didn't engage to school. I am too afraid of what may happen next, she said, crying. I agree wholeheartedly. My plan is not to tell the children. We are going to play games, watch our favorite DVDs, and do crafts. If I can keep it from them, I am, I explained. Unfortunately, Gage found out before I did. I didn't know if anywhere was safe. Her voice was still shaking from fear. I just got started on my research. I'll let you know if I find out anything. Okay, love you, sissy, she said, crying. Love you too. Talk to you soon, I told her as we hung up, not entirely sure if we ever would again. I opened Captain Hook's least favorite app. The first video opens on a crackling fire at night in the woods. We can hear the sounds of something huge walking. The trees cracked as they were forcibly brought down with each step. The camera pans to the sound and up to the treetops. A huge creature similar to the one I saw walks by in the moonlight. This one was glowing light blue, its head straight forward. The noise is louder because it was so close. No walls and barely any trees between the poster and the creature. The video starts after it walks out, restarts after it walks out of sight. The next one is filmed by someone standing on a walking bridge beside a large body of water. Their camera pans to the street and then above the building. This creature is of the same shape and size of the other two, but is glowing bright green. It walked down the street, damaging buildings as its limbs pushed off on them. The car's burglary alarms went off as they were stepped on. It was loud. Screams and people running to get out of the way of this thing that is more than 6 stories high. People were dodging the pieces of the buildings that were falling in its path. It walked past the poster and straight into the water. The video started over and it was completely submerged. When I realized my laptop was fully ready, I turned on the browser and scrolled through all the news reports available. There was more carnage and videos of the creatures. No one knew anything. There were series such as they were from the base on the North Pole or they were from the midnight zone of the ocean. Aliens was a big one as well. No true answers. The girls walked down the hall confused to why they were not got up for school. Dane ran as fast as a 4-year-old can and jumped in my lap. I shut my laptop. School has been canceled due to a tornado coming through town. I lied without any remorse. Unless any of them came through during the daylight, I am not saying anything. Yay, do I smell muffins? Carly asked. Yes. Will you set us up some plates and I will make the chocolate milk I requested? Yes! Naomi's hand shot up in the air in excitement as she walked over to grab plates. We watched movies and played outside randomly. We had a contest to see who could draw the best sharks and zebras. It was the best day I could make for them. Just as we were getting back from Mickey D's, John got home. We set up all 3 of them on the kids' table and the couch in the living room with their favorite mermaid movie. In the kitchen, as John and I ate, we talked about the videos we saw, the theories and news reports. There was nothing concrete about anything other than the entire planet was afraid. No one knows anything. He sounded frustrated and scared. If they do, they aren't saying on any outlets I have tried so far, I interjected unhelpfully. We agreed on trying again tomorrow and finding anything new. We brought the mattresses in the living room. We fell asleep to the genie singing. By the time we heard it stomping, it was too late. The last thing I ever felt was the ceiling crushing me. And that's the story. Yay!
I forgot to unmute myself. Yay! I was bravoing you and cheering, and I was silenced. But yeah, I love that one. It's very abrupt, sad ending, but I like how you handled it with don't scare the kids, and at least not until you know what's going on. And it was a very interesting creature. Creature group type of creature.
Well, they were all of the same type of creature.
Different ones in
There
different
was
areas.
a prompt one day of which would be scarier, something from coming from the sky or something taller than the trees walking by. And that's what my brain did with the prompt.
Your brain did very good. I quite enjoy that one.
Yay!
I'm glad you're it. So shall we go and see? Before we go, does anyone have any questions? Because I would like to get ready to do our giveaway tool, and somebody is going to be getting a copy of State of Mind, which I believe you'll all quite enjoy. It's got some great anecdotes, stories, and some recipes in the very end. So you get all sorts of things with this one. But it looks like we don't have any more comments, but we've had a lot of commenters. So I'm going to pull up our giveaway tool. And and Pile is our winner.
Yay!
So Pile, I will get some information from you afterwards, and we will get that sent out to you. And Jenny, I thank you so much for coming on tonight and sharing your stories, because you have a much different, more family feel to everything that you do than a lot of the people that we've had on here. We have a lot of spooky people on here, and a lot of people who have a lot of, and you bring the spook in, but you also bring the family into all of your stories. And I really appreciate that it's stuff that people can read for all ages. And then you present things, and it's the way that you've learned to teach your children is a way that expresses itself through the poetry and the stories that you write, into teaching people about how it's okay to feel different things and how not everybody reacts the same way. And you've got some good spooky stories too. You had a unique upbringing. And so I really like being able to read stuff about you. So where can we find you?
The usual places here on Allied, at Fakor, at Jennifer Elliott is my author page, and of course the book page that I have had since, like, the beginning, Friday with the Library and the Blue Box. And if you know boxes, we can be friends.
All right. And you going to be on tomorrow night?
That is the plan. The plan is for Josh and I both to be here.
All right. So guys, tomorrow night, get ready, because we're going to be bringing you the Tomb of the Terrible we're still doing the Amityville season, Amityville Christmas Vacation. It's a love story. Apparently.
It is the goofiest love story I've ever seen. And, well, this is the first time I've ever wanted to punch Santa in the nuts.
When Amityville meets Hallmark, this is what you get, apparently. But you guys know how to find me. Carrie Sanders, Kari. If you see, I have to scroll really far. That is me. I am judging you. You can find me here on Owlite on Sundays and Mondays usually. You can find my author page and read my stuff if you feel like it. And on Tuesdays, you can find me on Splash Pages. And this week we have on Dean Haspiel. So if you'd like to learn more about him, join us on Tuesday. And if you'd like to do some reading ahead, there is The Red Hook is awesome. The Fox and a couple other great comics. So read up, study, and if you need links for any of our stuff here, up above, down below, side to side, wherever they are, all of our information is listed there, so you can get a hold of us. So thank you very much for joining me tonight.
Thank you for being here, my lovelies.
Have a good night, everybody. We shall see you tomorrow.